Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Helmet Fire. Today we're going to go over the AMA with Robert Bowling about Dead Drop and what's the new direction that everything's going for 2024. And this is going to be quite unscripted. This is going to be off the cuff. I've got like 3 pages of notes or something, so real chicken scratch stuff. But we're going to go through it. We're going to go through the bullet points that I have, and then we're going to discuss things. So before we get started, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on future Dead Drop videos, and I appreciate you a whole bunch. So let's just jump right into it. Let's not waste any time. So the very first thing is the next update we can expect for Dead Drop is going to come sometime in January. It's an undisclosed date, and that's going to be update 7.5, and that is going to introduce Lua scripting. So for those who are looking to edit the DCM or Dead Drop community modes like Team Deathmatch and Infection and things like that, if you want to edit it further and tweak the settings and things like that, the Lua scripting is how you can do that. There's going to be, I think they're going to come out with tutorials and things like that, but there's stuff all over YouTube that you can look up if that's of interest to you. So, and I know that's a big deal in the community. There's a lot of people that are looking forward to that, especially the folks that were highlighted, such as Joker and Mayor Reynolds and, OMA Monster, Caramel, American Dad, and Kubi. I remembered all of them. Yay. So, shout out to all those great community members for contributing to the game, and, shout out to Midnight Society for working with the community on those things. It's super cool. So anyway, Lua scripting is coming in 7.5 sometime in January. So that's one of the biggest takeaways from yesterday. There's still a whole bunch of other stuff too. So let's see. Let's get right into the next one here. So Lua scripting. So I have a little asterisk here, and it says 8 months. So this kind of goes into the shift in direction. Midnight Society is absolutely pivoting to a more closed door, behind closed doors development approach, and as it pertains to larger scale marketed snapshots, they're moving away from that, at least for the foreseeable future. Like maybe another 8 months to a year before we see anything big like that, because they want to buckle down and really focus on development. Now, I'm going to get back to all that here in a little bit, but I want to go through the rest of these bullet points. Here's another big thing that's coming in the future, and this is something more along the lines of what we can expect this year coming up in 24, is what they call founder testing. So rather than large elaborate snapshots or snapshots every 3 months or whatever it is, where us community members are play testing the game and checking it out, what they're looking at doing is more laser focused, feature specific builds. And the example that they put up was something called armor plating, some kind of armor plating system. Rob said that they were testing it internally, and that's an example of something that would be in like a founder testing situation. So kind of, I guess what it means is like, it's like a smaller specialized build that focuses, specifically on one thing that us founders, according to Rob, can volunteer to participate in. I asked a question if those would be under NDA, and Rob said probably, most likely. He didn't say 100%, but he said probably will, because they're going to be really laser focused on certain things, and they're not really designed to be an entertainment, like there's not a lot of entertainment value in streaming it. Like I said, they're very specific in what they're trying to accomplish. And so they'd probably be under NDA when those come out. But if you are a founder or someone who has access to the game and are interested, I guess the signups will happen. I don't yet know if it will be for founders specifically only, or if you possess a tower key, if you can participate. We don't know that yet, so stand by on that. So founder testing is something that we should expect to see periodically throughout 2024 as they begin to roll out new features. So that's actually pretty exciting. And then let me get through the next bullet point here. So there's another little asterisk here. It says small targeted builds throughout the year, not doing big snapshots, not anytime soon. There is no date for the next snapshot. They don't know what that is yet. They don't have any concrete plans to share at this time. So my earlier prediction in my previous videos, where we might not see another snapshot for like a year, this is starting to sound more and more likely. Not confirmed, okay? Like, I don't want to get anybody all riled up or anything, but they did say they do not have a date for the next snapshot. And they did say that they, again, and we're going to get into this here in a little bit, that they are focusing their efforts more on development rather than marketing. So that's that. Again, we're going to get back to it. It says no full release date for the final game. Let's see. They're targeting the fall of 2024 for a large release, but still not finished. Robert Bowling was quoted saying that the game isn't finished until the community says it's finished, which I really like that approach, because that means as long as we're excited about it and supporting it and the monetization on their end looks good, that they'll keep supporting it. But he did give a little bit of a definition on large release and what he's looking for 2024, and this also alludes to the doc comments from what you saw in my previous video. But he said, he mentioned very short. He was very short when he said this, so he didn't go into full detail or anything, but he said, you know, a full release in 24 to them sounds like maybe 3 sectors are complete, and, you know, the game is very, you know, art heavy and polished and looks like a more complete game. And then, you know, they can continue iterating from there, you know, because development definitely won't stop. So it sounds like, pardon me, it sounds like in 24, we should expect smaller founder-focused builds on specific features, but then maybe like in the fall of 24, we get like a larger, perhaps beta-style release that looks like a more complete game with 3 completed sectors. That's what it sounds like we may have based on what was said. So let's keep moving here. So they're, let's see, not concerned. Yeah, they said they're not concerned about how the game looks in these smaller targeted builds. These smaller targeted builds are specific to certain features and are not going to have a whole lot of art or crazy stuff going on. So the next thing on the list here is they talked about funding. So there was a question asked. I didn't want to ask this question, but somebody in the community did. They asked the question, you know, what's going on with you guys laying off essentially your entire marketing department, which was 3 individuals. I'm not going to name them here, but that question did get asked, and he did address it, which was really nice, because this is something that caused concern in the community, right? Because when a company starts laying people off, it sends this signal of, oh no, are they not doing well financially? You know, do they have all the funding they need and all this? And Rob did say that most studios will avoid these kinds of questions, but he is very adamant to be transparent, and he still stands by wholeheartedly the message that's been said from the beginning, which was, you know, here at Midnight Society, we want to be open and transparent with what we're doing as much as possible. And to his credit, he really came through on that answer, which was, they said that they are pivoting to a more development-focused, you know, situation. And instead of spending millions of dollars and big snapshots and all the marketing, which makes their job a lot harder and creates a lot more distraction away from development, they want to instead focus on developing the game. And he said he's quoted saying, "We can do a lot of things, but we can't do everything." And he said this a lot of times in previous AMAs. And he furthered that comment by saying, we have the funding we need to get to our goal at the end of 2024, and then, you know, go from there. So we are fully funded. And he said, we're funded, but we have to, you know, we can only do what we can do with that funding. So we have to look at it and say, do we develop the game so we can meet our goals, or is it not as smart to spend millions of dollars and continue to try to make it into a marketing push, right? So I know I'm not explaining that very well, but it does make perfect sense when you look at it. So, you know, they're looking at it like, hey, we're going to shift direction here. Now we have to reevaluate with the assets and the funding that we have, what is the best way to utilize those assets for the product and the goals we're trying to meet. To ease the community's concerns, the game is fully funded and they're shifting direction to focus more on developing the actual game. Now, we probably won't get a lot of big flashy updates and big snapshots this year coming up, but there will be these founder-focused builds. The community is going to have the Lua scripting to play with, so that's going to create some new interesting DCM variants and potentially new DCM modes altogether. We don't know yet. They did say very briefly that so this was another bullet point. So I asked about they talked about the creator tool, and I asked about the map editor. The map editor, unfortunately, they said is on the back burner. It's like the last in line because it's the most technologically difficult thing to implement. So the map editor will unfortunately come much later in development, and we don't have a roadmap for that yet. The creator tool is going to be evolved as time goes along. Rob did say that we will most likely be building skins and character stuff in the game using the creator tools long before the map editor comes out. And so that does suck for those that were looking forward to the map editing stuff, but at the same time, if you're like me and you think about game development, it's like, what would we rather happen? Like something come out fast and broken, or come out much later but be polished and actually working? And I'm the latter, right? Like I know it kind of sucks. I would like to mess with the map editing and kind of learn those tool sets, but overall, if it ends up being a working, better product in the end, I would much rather that happen. You know, nothing's worse than a game that's just unplayable. So the creator tool, there's no official release date. It might come out in 24, but Rob was really reluctant to lean on that, so it may not be in 24 at all. We'll just have to wait and see. Consoles. Okay, let's get through this. Consoles are a big point that the community's been chomping at the bit. The studio and Rob has been chomping at the bit to get this done. Rob did say that in January, they have meetings with Sony and Microsoft. Things are going really well. More specifically, on the Microsoft side of the house, they're going way better than they are with Sony. Sony is taking longer for a bunch of different reasons, but it is what it is. But they said that the talks with consoles are progressing very nicely. They're ramping up, and so we are getting there. It might actually be a reality by the time they're ready to launch this thing in the fall. So yay for the console peeps. I'm really rooting for you guys and gals. We all want it on console. I would love to have it on console too. And they are making some really good headway with that, so stay tuned for more on that. M-rated game. So they mentioned about the topic about like toxicity in games and, you know, prox chat and like and how that will be handled and everything, and they basically said that Dead Drop is being aimed to be an M-rated game, right? Mature rated game. And a lot to that to do with just you know, when you play games and you have that camaraderie and that competitive nature, you know, it's a more adult language type of situation. Robert Bowling did say, and was very adamant to say, this doesn't mean, like, we do want to allow trash talk. We want people to have fun and be themselves, and, you know, if they want to trash talk, have fun with it. But he was very adamant to say that it doesn't mean that we're trying to give license to allow people to be a-holes and be sexist and racist and all this stuff. We will not allow that. Zero tolerance. So if anybody was, you know, worried about that, Midnight Society is very cognizant about that, very passionate to make sure that, you know, while we want people to have fun and it is an M-rated game, we also do not want to allow the bad apples to just get in there and ruin everything for everybody. So kudos to Midnight Society for that. I know that's going to make a lot of people happy. But, you know, on both sides, right? We obviously don't want to condone any bad behavior that's really discriminatory. But at the same time, people like myself, like, we want to be able to kind of trash talk and have fun like that and throw jabs at people and our friends, and without it being like this, oh, you said a bad word, now we're going to ban you from the game like some games do, right? You know, that gets a little ridiculous. So good on it. Good on Midnight Society for that. So let's see. I think that's kind of it for the big notes. If I missed anything, feel free to let me know in the comments. Again, if you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe, bell notifications, all those things. So, closing thoughts. Man, that was a lot. Whew. Closing thoughts. I think this was a really good AMA. This was really, really good AMA. I really love the transparency. I like that they addressed the funding issue. You know, a lot of people were really worried about that. Rob did talk about a roadmap. He said, yes, we are. He said, this is important. So Rob said after they come back from the holiday break, they're going to be outlining the roadmap for the year. And then, of course, they'll iterate on that roadmap as time goes along. But we are going to be getting a roadmap soon, sometime after the holiday. And we should also be getting update 7.5 sometime in January as well, which will bring the Lua scripting. So that's exciting. We'll have some cool, fresh new stuff to look at and mess with. The roadmap's going to be nice. But overall thoughts, like, I really thought the AMA was great. It was really nice to finally get some clarity on some of these things. It did give us a lot of information on what we can expect going into 24. And that's really important. Expectations being set is really important, because if we're not going to have big snapshots, then, you know, what are we going to have? What are we going to be doing for the next year? Like, these are all questions that we've had. So a lot of those got answered, which was really nice. And I couldn't be more excited for where the game's going, because now we're in a situation where the game, now that they're going to be focusing and doubling down on just making the game and not worrying about all the marketing and the hoopla and the live events, which are amazing, by the way, don't get it twisted. But, like, I'm ready to play a finished product at this point, right? And maybe that's a little selfish, right? Unrealistic, right? Because it's a brand new game, AAA, built in Unreal 5. They've only been at it for a year and a half. Like, I know, I get it. Pump the brakes, Helmet. I get it. But I am ready to play a more polished art, you know, more art pass, more, just more everything, right? More weapons, more gear, more customization, more maps, more fleshed out, finished maps. Like, I think we all are ready for those things, and other features like bot lobbies and, you know, weapon skins, customization systems, you know, NPCs, hopefully. Like, these are all things that we're looking forward to. So 24, I'm really excited, because the founder builds, the founder testing builds are going to be really great. Nothing excites me more than to think about, like, what new feature are they going to put up on the table for us to check out in the early stages. You know, what's the game going to look like in 6 months and in a year? And then if it does release in a large fashion in the fall, what's that going to be like? Are they going to plan an event for that? We don't know. I would honestly, like, rather them not do a big live event like they did with Vegas for a fall release. I think it should just be a normal marketing campaign, and then they release the game, and let's get everybody in on it with console and PC together, crossplay. Like, I think they need to get the crossplay working like day one on launch of that. And if they can pull that off, dude, I think it's gonna be nuts. So anyway, I've been rambling for probably a million years. I don't even know at this point. We're going off the cuff. We're going off the script, so whatever. I hope y'all have enjoyed it. I'm really pumped about 24. I think Dead Drop is going to be a badass game, and I'm really excited to play with all of you. So again, if you enjoyed the content, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on any future Dead Drop content. If I can talk. Anyway, I'm out of here, y'all. I love you guys. Have a safe, happy holiday, and I'll see you in the tower. Have a good one.